I'm going to say, I can't do any more for you than this. Like, there's nothing left that you need. I have put together a championship caliber roster here, and that could put a lot of the pressure on the head coach and the quarterback. How do you see it, Tedy?
Yeah, there are certain areas of the offseason that I love because teams tell you the truth, because usually they lie to you. Press conferences and everything, they just lie to you. But when who they draft and who they sign in free agency and what they do in free agency tells you the truth of somewhat of their of who they feel they are. And I think the Dallas Cowboys are doing exactly that. Re-sign Donovan Wilson, the safety, re-sign Leighton Vander Esch, and then go ahead and get Gilmore to play opposite Diggs. The corner away from Diggs was a big weakness for the Dallas defense last year, in my opinion. So you're fixing this defense and making it even more formidable and your head coach is saying, actually, we're going to run it. We're going to run the ball more and be more physical on the offensive line. I mean, Neek just said it too. They can't pass protect. So they are going to depend on this defense more. They're going to depend on this running game more. Why would you bring another receiver like Odell Beckham Jr. in when you can't pass protect? And do you really want to put this in Dak Prescott's hands? I wouldn't. I would put it in the hands of my defense in my running game, and it looks like they think the same about it.
How do you see it, Mike T?
Yeah, I think you could really thread the needle. First of all, Gilmore was excellent because Anthony Brown's a free agent and he's hurt. I would sign OBJ for this reason. They lost a lot in Amari Cooper and didn't replace him with Noah Brown or Mike. I'm
told Mike T's mic is not working, so we'll jump in there. We'll get him a
yeah,
fix there.
He's talking about signing Odell Beckham Jr. Why would you want to throw the ball more with Dak Prescott?
That's why would you want to throw it more?
I'll take it over. If your mic's broke, my mic works, okay? I would not sign Odell Beckham Jr. if I'm the Dallas Cowboys because of the team that the head coach wants to be. What you've tried to be over the last couple seasons has failed, all right? You're going to have to run the football more and play defense. This is how this team's going to be successful because I don't think they have a quarterback to do otherwise.
I feel so strong about this. I need 2 microphones.
Go.
Look, you could draft an offensive lineman. I don't disagree with you or Nick from that standpoint. Greeny, you know this draft is loaded with offensive linemen. So to me, it's complementary team building. Sign OBJ. It doesn't cost you anything in picks. You need another frontline receiver to take pressure off of CeeDee Lamb, and then go draft that offensive lineman. So I love Gilmore. Add the receiver, and then draft the offensive lineman.
Well, look, I mean, again, if you can do all things, then no one would argue that doing all things is not a better thing. But I think what Tedy is saying, and Dominique, I'll come to you on this thought, is that Mike McCarthy himself has said, we plan to be a little different. We're going to morph this offense. One of the reasons that Kellen Moore, we believe, isn't there anymore is because they got very pass happy, and Tedy is saying they want to win a little bit more like the way his old Patriot teams used to do in the early days.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to win in that way, the old way. So I think getting another receiver wouldn't hurt. And I don't know why we're so out on Dak Prescott. He had 1 year with a lot of interceptions. He's still a really good quarterback, and he blacked out on Tom Brady in the Bucs. So the idea that Dak Prescott isn't the answer, I think, is a little bit of a stretch. But they do need to protect him better. I think that will make it so that he performs better. And running the ball is never bad for anybody. And relying on their good defense is a smart thing to do. But going back to the way that the Patriots won their first Super Bowl, I'm not sure that works in the NFL at this point, the way that teams attack each other.
Yeah, I'm not saying to do it that way, but I'm just saying that do you believe in your heart that Dak Prescott is the guy that can take in Odell Beckham Jr., a CeeDee Lamb, and it can be put in his hands rather than
my heart?
I just don't. I don't. Dak hasn't shown me that over the course of his career that he can be that quarterback that can be in. So then now you're talking Dak Prescott will be an MVP candidate because he can throw for close to 5,000 yards and be the reason why they win football games. I just disagree.
So really today is the beginning of that process. And so we'll see if anyone comes forward with an offer sheet or anything like that. Shefty jumps in. Neek, Tedy, Dan Graziano here. I'll start with you, Shefty. Is there any reason to expect that at 4:01 today, someone is going to present Lamar Jackson with an offer sheet?
Look, he is an unbelievable player, and that always could happen, but I do not sense that that's going to happen. I could be wrong here. There could be a team laying in the weeds. Washington, Atlanta, they both make an awful lot of sense to jump out and do something. I don't know why Washington wouldn't do something, but I have not got any sign just yet that that will happen. Now, that doesn't mean that there would be signals either. This is a Lamar Jackson show and production, and he's not telling people what he's doing, and teams aren't going to advertise if they're going to make a strong push on Lamar Jackson. They're not allowed to do that really until 4:01 today, once the legal tampering period opens during NFL free agency. So we will sit back and wait, but I have a feeling that this Lamar Jackson process will make the Aaron Rodgers situation look fast.
And by that, just to be clear, before I bring everyone else in, like we could be looking at weeks. I mean, there's no more than weeks, months. We could be looking at months.
I mean, the Ravens have until July 15th to sign him to a long-term deal. We don't even know for a fact that he wants out. We haven't heard that from him or from anyone close to him. So we are at the very beginning of this process for sure.
Okay, so then let me go to Nick on this then, because I still associate you with the Ravens and you still live near there, and I feel like you have sort of a good finger on the pulse of that situation. What I can't figure out, and to the point that Graz just made, less has come out of these conversations than any other I can ever remember. Maybe his not having an agent has contributed to just less buzz coming out of the inside of it. Do you feel like it is acrimonious on a level where ultimately Lamar Jackson staying in Baltimore is unlikely?
It doesn't feel like it's gotten to that point for anybody around watching the Ravens. It feels like he could still go back there. But I do live close to Baltimore, but I live in D.C. And I don't see why. I think Adam just brought this up. I don't see why Daniel Snyder would be uncomfortable giving somebody a fully guaranteed contract, considering the fact that he is moving on and selling the franchise. That could be his final farewell to his group of owners. It's like, yeah, we're going to perpetuate this fully guaranteed contract, and it would be a great thing for the city and also probably a great thing for the value of his franchise. The value of the franchise goes up significantly when you have a main attraction there and you become a Super Bowl contender immediately. So maybe I'm just being biased because Lamar Jackson's my son's favorite player, and it's a lot easier for us to get to a Washington Commanders game than it is to get to a Ravens game. But we'll keep going to Baltimore, but don't move him too far because then we're going to have a problem in this house.
Yeah, I mean, they're close enough by. He might not have to move out of his house. I don't know exactly where he lives, but he'd be going from just across there. So, Tedy, let me come to you on this. I'm just curious your perspective. It's something that we've been building towards, and I feel like everything has been out there as a theoretical question. Now, all of a sudden, I mean, 4 o'clock today, the moment has arrived. How do you see it?
I think Lamar Jackson's phone should be ringing off the hook, personally, because of the player that he is. And, Neek's on the right track because I don't think you're looking at teams. I think you look at owners and what owners are willing to say, basically, screw the membership. The membership, okay, which is what they affectionately refer to the membership of owners that are in this National Football League. Which one is willing to say, I owe my fans this, okay? I want us to be a competitor for the next 5 to 6 years with a quarterback that's only 26 years old and's already won an MVP. I want to give this to our franchise and all of our season ticket holders. What owners are out there that need a quarterback that are willing to do that and have the guts to do that? That's where you got to see. And that's where I think the offers will come from for Lamar Jackson, because I think the price isn't even steep. You give up a couple ones, you give him what he wants. I hope he gets what he wants and gets that guaranteed deal.
Yes, the 2 ones are an extraordinarily low price to pay for a player at his stage. But Dominique, I'll come to you because you've been in the room with it. You've been in the room where it happens, negotiating CBAs and all the stuff that we're talking about with the members of that membership, as Tedy was just saying. If Lamar Jackson gets what he wants, then the floodgates open, right? I mean, the guaranteed contracts all of a sudden become a thing, not an outlier. And the owners strongly don't want that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that it becomes a thing for anyone other than top-tier quarterbacks, honestly. But I think the way that Tedy framed it was perfect. Because right now, the only reason not to offer Lamar a fully guaranteed contract is because you don't want to upset your membership. You don't want to upset their group of owners that you belong to. And you are showing loyalty to them. But I think Tedy's right. You need to show loyalty to your team, to the players on your team, to the fans of your team, to your city. Show loyalty to them by signing him to a fully guaranteed contract and becoming a Super Bowl contender immediately. And we're not pretending like it's not without risk, but it's always risky. I brought this up earlier. We all of us who've been fans of teams know how hard it is to find a quarterback. And yes, you could bring in Lamar, and yes, he could get hurt because he got hurt the last couple of seasons. But you could also draft a quarterback in the first round, and there's a 50% chance, or probably higher percent chance, that he won't even be good, let alone be MVP caliber. So chasing all these pipe dreams is one thing, but I'd rather pay a sure thing in Lamar Jackson and set my team up to be, at least, if nothing else, interesting and entertaining.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.